It's been so much fun seeing all the love for these classic episodes. I truly hope they've inspired and encouraged you along the way. While you've been watching and listening, we've been busy behind the scene putting together something completely new. I promise it will be worth the wait. Before I go, however, I have one more exciting announcement. My brand new book, The No Limits Life, officially comes out September 1st. September 1st. Pre-orders are open now, and I'd be honored if you reserve your copy today at thenolimitslifebook.com. Thenolimitslifebook.com. Thanks for being part of this journey. I can't wait to share what's next with you. Hello and welcome to another powerful episode of the No Limits Life podcast, where we go beyond surface level motivation and dive into real transformation. I'm your host, Nordine Zwareg, and I'm grateful you're joining us today. As always, we begin the show with a quote from today's No Limits Life 60 Seconds Daily Boost. You know better days are coming because you're building them with every step you take today. And that quote cannot be more fitting than today's guest, Jesus Rodriguez, who knows how to live a purpose-driven, successful life. He is a successful entrepreneur and a home builder. Jesus, welcome. And first, I'd like to ask you, how does this wisdom, the quote, wisdom applies in your life? How would you apply that?
Thank you for having me, first off. But that quote hits home pretty well because it's more of a mantra for me, to where, I apply it to every aspect of my life, and I can define it with everything I've done in my life. Just like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. You need to know where you're going, and you have to prep for it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a quote that applies to everyone that is looking for a more successful or goal-oriented situation in their life. You need to first, know where you're going and prep for it. And you also need to look back at where you're coming from. So it applies to everyone, everything, especially me and my life and where I'm going.
So tell us exactly, where did you start from?
I started working with my father at a very young age. He was a plumbing contractor here.
Also an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur, came from Mexico at a really
young age.
At a young age, and built his business here, and became one of the bigger plumbing contractors in the time. We're talking in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And, he had a series of unfortunate events, and, still continued with the business, but it changed who he was. And
so he had a tough life.
He had a tough life, yeah.
And a life you didn't want to emulate. You wanted better for yourself.
I definitely didn't want to live that life, but at the same time, I did want to take everything he taught me and everything he showed me and evolve from it. Mm-hmm. And since I was a child, I remember going to different projects, different construction sites with him, yeah, and asking.
So little Jesus was inspired.
Yeah, I was inspired. It's just curiosity more than anything. But the odd part was I wanted to learn how they did it and why they did it and what was.
Why did you want to learn specifically what your father was? You could have learned something else.
It was natural to me. Building was natural to me, and working with my hands was natural. But I didn't want to just.
So you're already gifted with that
definitely,
gift. Okay,
definitely.
Okay.
It was something that, I realized that I was really good with my hands. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I told myself, well, I want to learn that because not only do I want to be able to do it for myself, I want to learn how to do it right. Mm-hmm. And I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I don't want anybody to tell me this is how it's done. I want to be able to be the one that says, no, this is how it's done, and for this reason. Mm-hmm. So it became a little game with me when I was a kid, to where
building things fun.
Just building things, but not only that, learning how it was built and why.
Ironically, kids like to destroy, but you like to build. Or maybe perhaps building and destroying at the same time.
Well, the destroying can be fun for sure, but the building, I think, is inspiring. Mm-hmm. And definitely it takes a certain mindset to be able to create versus destroy. You know, anyone can destroy. Not everyone can create. So for me, and I wanted to create, but I wanted to create the right way.
Let's get back to this creation, creativity. How did you even start being interested in creating things? What was the force behind all that?
The force was being good at something.
Okay.
And for me,
that motivated you.
Yeah, it motivated me to create. So, you know, one of the first things that happened to me, and I'll go back on this real quick. My father, I grew up with dogs, mastiffs. They're huge dogs, and we didn't have. My father had built a wall, and the walls didn't have any gates. It had, you know, openings for gates, but no gates. And I asked him, "Hey, Dad, the dog got out, and you know, he scared the heck out of everyone." And I said, "When are we gonna build the gates?"
Did you build the wall?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So he comes to me. He's like, "We're gonna build the gates this week."
How old were you?
I must have been 11.
Oh my God! Already building.
Yeah, so he says, he calls the next day. You know, he's like, "Tell Jesus to come outside." So my mom says, "Go outside, Jesus. Your dad wants you." I go outside. There was no cell phones. It was line wires. And he shows up and he's like, "I need you to get all those pipes down from this truck. And there's a box for you in the back." So I get the pipes down. They're all oily and greasy. And I'm like, "What, Dad, what is it?" He's like, "It's steel. It's iron." Okay. "And what's in this box? It's really heavy." You know, I had to have my brother help me. He says, "Well, that's yours." And I said, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "It's a welder." So what am I going to do with it? He said, you're going to build the gates. And I was like, "Okay, well, okay." So he unpacks the welder and everything, and he gives me a steel plate, and he welds his name in weld on this plate. And he tells me, he's like, "When you can weld your name, I'll teach you how to build." I said, "Okay." So I remember working literally all night, like the whole neighborhood would light up in blue. And
so all night you'd be working?
Oh, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was welding, yeah.
What drove you?
I think it was...
In order to do that, then you have... There's far beyond the doing aspect. There's something else there.
I think it's the act.
Because you ask any kid to stay awake all day long or all night long and build a wall, I'm sure they're going to just laugh at you.
No. For me, it was part of my bigger dream, you know. I want to learn to do it. It's part of my bigger dream. So I'm going to be successful at everything that I do.
Success.
And I want to be good, and I want to be able to create.
Yep. So create, good, success, dream.
Yeah.
What is that telling you?
Well, it tells you that...
Because we want to make sure that the listeners are understanding that there's a process from the second we start dreaming to the achievement of that dream. So we want to know exactly what was happening in your head and in your heart that led you to be able to stay all night long and build a wall, steel wall, right?
Yeah.
And do the things that your father held you accountable with. So there's something far beyond than the doing, because you mentioned success, dreams. So tell us more about how you do that.
I think...
Or how you be that.
I definitely felt an urge to become a better version of myself. And since I knew I was so young...
Why? A better version? You didn't like your version?
I think I was always a chaser, so I always chased a bigger and better version
of me. Because you were how old?
I'm 44.
No, but you were how old when you started thinking?
I must have been 10, 11 years old at the time.
10, you don't even know your version of yourself then.
No, you don't.
So maybe you're referring to self-esteem.
Maybe, yeah, self-esteem, but at the same time, I also knew that, you dream, you think big, you want to achieve something, and then whatever comes next, then you jump on that horse.
Most kids today at 10 years old, they don't think that way. They don't have a dream. They stuck to their device and
playing video games
and let life happen by default, right?
Yeah.
But back then, and I remember that too. Ken, you remember that too. We were out and playing, and we didn't have any device. Yeah. So I can understand where you're coming from and how you start feeling, because that's how I felt. But it happened for me later. For me, at 10 years old, I was completely stuck into that fear, paralyzed by fear. And again, people who heard my story before, it was nightmarish life until I was 19 years old. So I didn't have the ability to think the way you thought until a later age. So at a young age, you already had a dream of becoming a builder.
I definitely wanted...
Well, not any builder.
Yeah.
Okay?
I wanted to create, and I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to be a builder. I just knew that one day I was going to build my house, and it was going to be spectacular.
Okay.
And I needed to learn. And
by the way, what you're building are multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah, they're top of the line. It doesn't,
Okay.
they're what you see in
So
high-end
think
areas.
back, 10 years old, did you see yourself building multi-million-dollar homes?
If I think back, I did. I dreamt pretty big back then, and I think I got to credit that to my father because he dreamt pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
He would say things that were pretty outlandish. He says, one day when I buy my plane, he says, I'm going to make sure I gold plate it so everyone knows that it's me.
One day when I buy my plane,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
One day when I buy my plane, he's already seeing it.
He's already seen it, yeah.
Right? He's already in there. In order to get somewhere, you need to know where you're going.
Exactly.
You wake up in the morning, if you don't know where you're going, you ain't getting there.
Yeah.
If you get in your car in the morning, in your garage, and you start the car, but you don't know where you're going, you could be either driving around town for the rest of the day or not going anywhere. Yeah. So you had a dream, you knew where you were going. So did your father.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
So I guess I have a question. So you're building these beautiful high-end homes. I mean, they're anywhere from $3 million, and you got a couple for $10 million. I mean, I've seen pictures, they're beautiful. How did you have the confidence to do that as opposed to, I'll just I'll build a $200,000 house. What gave you the confidence, like immediately going from granite, because remember you were saying you're a granite person, mm-hmm. and I'm going to go build a house, but I'm not going to just build any old house. I'm going to build multi-million-dollar house. I don't get that. How did you do that?
It was just like the steel fence story, You think you can do it, and you believe you can do it, and you find an opportunity. And I put myself in a situation where I found an opportunity, and the guy didn't really have a builder, and he was trying to do it himself. And I said, well, I'll build it for you. I said, give me a small fee, and I'll build it for you. And if you don't like what you get, then you don't have to pay me. But at least I'll help you build your house. And he was kind of desperate, but he was like, okay, I have nothing to lose. And at that time I had plenty of experience in what's called fine finishes, and I had put stone in airports and high-end hotels. I had done things for like this Radiology Limited. I built them a 40-foot granite table and put it in their third story. So I had done very out of the ordinary things, and with the background in plumbing, it became it added to the rough end of it, but the finesse of it is what makes you better than most. Anybody can build anything, but not everyone can add that finesse, the final touch, where it actually adds value, It's like you take an old beat-up car, right, and you restore it and you paint it. If they do a horrible job on the paint, it's not that great of a deal. But if they do a candy job, all of a sudden everything else comes together. So for me, it was an opportunity to take a step towards what my dream was, to where, hey, I want to do this not only for myself, but for other people.
So the opportunity that you're speaking of, mm-hmm. if you were not prepared to seize the opportunity, this would have never happened.
Oh,
right?
Definitely.
So let's talk about this for a moment. You heard of the quote, luck.
Yeah.
Okay? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? Uh-huh. So you knocked on the door of opportunity, or the opportunity knocked on your door, and you answered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
By being prepared. You were prepared. Like for me in competition, the only way I was able to succeed is by going to work out, day in and day out. Watch what I was eating, being prepared. So when I stepped on stage, I was prepared. The opportunity came, I seized it, and I won. And I did this. Every single thing that I've approached had a process. Okay? And let's talk about that process for a second. Because we're talking about content here. We know that you're building multi-million-dollar homes. It's fantastic. But people and the listeners here specifically want to know the context of it. Okay, what is the context? We are the content on this earth. The universe is the context, right? So what happened inside Jesus that led you to get to the top? That's what I would like to hear. There's a process there, and I want to get it out of your mouth.
Well, I'd have to dissect myself a little bit, but if I can do that quickly, I would say first it was the urge to be good at something that was instilled in me as a kid. You know, whatever you do it right, you do it to the best of your ability. But at the same time, you put yourself in a situation where you believe you can do it. You believe wholeheartedly you can do it, and it doesn't matter what it takes, you're going to make it happen. And I think with anybody that's trying to go anywhere, they have to have that mindset. You have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in your abilities, and in your ability to evolve.
Absolutely. Jesus, I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to mention something that people keep on telling me. Belief. It sounds corny, belief. Okay, every person out there, every motivational speaker would say to you, believe, get a passion, but no one is telling you the process of it. So when we say believe, give me your definition of what that truly means. And not just the definition, the content of it, but the contextual aspect of believing. How does it start? Where do you find it? You don't find believe and passion at supermarket in pack of 12, right?
No, you don't. That's a good question. Believing, at least to me, is...
How did it feel inside?
It's an urge that erupts from the core of who you are. It's an urge to create something or do something with your life. And believing is the factor of you holding on to that urge and you feeling it and you holding on to it so hard that it pulls you through your life. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it can be crossing the freeway, on foot. If you don't believe you can do it, you won't.
Absolutely. So again, belief. When we keep on mentioning doing this and doing that, the best of ability and everything else, but these are content.
Yeah.
I want to know what it means to believe. It's be which you believe in before you even achieve it. Believe. There's a word be, right?
Yeah.
And live.
Yeah, you have to put yourself
Okay?
there.
Be and live. Believe.
Yeah.
Believing is an inside job. You feel that.
Yeah, and you could see it.
And you can see it.
You can see it in your mind.
Because you can see it, you believe it. Because that famous quote from Muhammad Ali, who mentions, who says, if you can conceive it with your mind, you can achieve it. Or if you can conceive it, okay, and believe it, you can achieve it. If you conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. And if you listened to Muhammad Ali, I'm sure you have, and all our listeners have, I would hope so, you see that demeanor. Almost people would say, some people told me before, that they felt that he was...
egotistical?
Yeah, there's another word. What is it?
Arrogance?
Arrogant.
Yeah.
When you hear Muhammad Ali, before his fights or after the fights, another guy who does that too is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I'm the best. I'm the champion of the world. I'm pretty. I'm this, and I'm going to knock this guy around. He saw it. Mm-hmm. He saw it.
Well, I think arrogance is one of those words that can be easily misconstrued, because how can you not be arrogant and see yourself in a situation that makes you outstanding?
So you have to be arrogant in order to succeed.
Not in the term of arrogance towards other people, but you have to be arrogant towards yourself.
Exactly.
And tell yourself, no, you're not going to fail. Mm. You are successful. You're going to be successful. You're going to be strong. You're going to be fast. Whatever you're trying to achieve, that arrogance, I wouldn't call it arrogance within myself, but it's the only word that comes to mind.
Self-worth.
Well, man, yeah, you have to put yourself on a pedestal of self-worth to achieve it.
Worth.
Because
Which is the opposite of self-esteem.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So
people can tell you all day long you're good or bad. You can believe it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, it's your self-worth that determines where you're going and who you are. Deep down, with self-worth, you can do, be, or have anything you set your mind to do or be. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, again, that little Jesus who saw these dreams, he saw himself building those homes, but little Jesus didn't see only, he felt.
Oh, 100%. You feel a drive and a passion almost, or the drive becomes a passion.
Think it, feel it,
and achieve it.
Have it. Think it, feel it, have it. Yeah. If you forget the middle part, feeling it, forget about it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to achieve it. Again, it's like stamping the letter that you're sending to the universe, or sending a letter to the universe without a stamp.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's going nowhere. Mm-hmm. You have to put a stamp on there.
Yeah.
That's the only way it gets to the universe, and that's the only way it comes back to you. So Jesus had a dream, became that dream, believed in that dream, and now Big Jesus is living the life and helping other people.
Yeah, I still dream. I'm a dreamer. So for me, it's I still reach. If it's just use where you're at as a stepping stone to get to a better version, better place of yourself. And the only thing that's changed is now I have the experience and the wherewithal to share with other people and say, hey, let me help you. Let me tell you what happened to me, and let me give you my opinion on how you can take a step forward. Maybe not, propel you forward, but I could show you how to take a step forward in the right direction. And so now it's I dream, but also I share. I share in what I deal with on a daily basis, and how I deal with things, where I've came from, where I'm going. And
like I always say, and it's not me creating this quote, but I've heard it before, life gives to the givers and takes from the takers.
Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you very much for being here. I learned a lot, both from little Jesus and big Jesus. And to the audience, thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for being with us. If today's episode motivated you and moved you, inspired you, please, by all means, share, like, subscribe, and talk about it to the people around you, your family, your friends. There's always out there someone who needs to hear this message, and you can be the bridge that delivers it. So until next time, keep rising, keep believing, and keep living your no limits life.
Follow your heart. All you gotta do is follow. All you gotta do is follow your heart.
What a great trip down memory lane. I hope this episode encouraged you and reminded you of what's possible. Before you go, I want to remind you that my brand new book, The No Limits Life, is coming out on September 1st. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to pre-order your copy today at thenolimitslifebook.com, thenolimitslifebook.com. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.